Kelly Wells Horsens, I want to show you what I live in. This is my house. I have to pay for a storage unit. I have to keep my vehicle running. It's got over 600,000 miles on it. I am disabled. A lot of my money has been stolen or blackmailed out of me, or I've been forced to use the money that, as a disabled person, without that money, I can't take care of myself. But I'm forced to go to court date after court date for crimes I didn't commit. Over 30 of them, by the way. Over 30 crimes that I didn't commit in Chapel, Nebraska alone. Well, they use this jurisdictional thing. You know what? All they have to do is slander your name. Your name is slandered worldwide. Sorry, nationwide. What the media did was make it worldwide. I spoke up about the abuse that I endure. I have both physical and mental disabilities. Instead of them acknowledging that it's a disability and giving me and acknowledging the rights of a disabled person, they have denied me all of that. I have gone to literally hundreds of appointments in the last 6 years. All of them cost me money. All of them cost me gas and time. Natalie Bollinger isn't the only person who's dead over this, by the way. Also, if you remember, Jean-Benet Ramsey, that was Boulder, Colorado, too. The evidence shows that Natalie Bollinger and I were friends. We didn't become friends until she was an adult. We did know each other in person because I ran her and her sister off when they were in sleeping bags with much older men. Emery and Arturo. I ran those men off too. You don't get to do that. That's not acceptable. Whether you had your clothes on or not, it's not acceptable. I always protected people. And I always needed protected. That's because anybody at any point in time can call me mentally ill and get away with it. That's what happens when you tell on staff members for molesting you. That's what happens when your parents would rather sell cocaine and snort cocaine than be parents, and you end up in the system. Natalie and I didn't lead much different lives. We both have shit families that can't keep their nasty cockbeaters to themselves. Both of our families are full of drug addicts. And the unfortunate fact of the matter is, as a disabled person, they can change the word disabled to mentally ill at any point in time and try to insinuate and infer that I am crazy, schizophrenic, and delusional. On this very channel are over, I want to say now, 500 conversations with actual witnesses to the situation. People want to keep making it about Natalie. No, this isn't about Natalie. This has been about the abuse that I have had to endure since over a year before Natalie was killed. I hurt my back in 2015, October of 2015. Natalie and I didn't become friends until she was an adult. Before that, the only reason I knew who she was is because she was down there on Pearl Street selling drugs for her fucking dad, by her own words. Yeah, found out about me through one of these Natalie Bollinger sites that just spreads the same slander. The homeless are the most likely people to be killed by police, bar none. All of these different groups that are complaining that they've got people that are being killed by the police and nobody's doing about it because of color. No, color is not the defining factor there. It's whether or not the police believe that anybody cares about them or will care about them. And that comes down to poverty. Most of these black folks who were being killed by police, most of them were homeless. Most of the black people incarcerated were homeless when they were arrested. Many of them forced into homelessness because of abuse. and a system that blames all men. It must be men's fault that women take advantage of disabled men. There's women that claim to be friends of mine, women that I protected, like Shea Burton. When it comes to me and having PTSD, she wants to say things like, "Oh, Sean, you're mentally ill, you need therapy." Therapists don't do their jobs as mandated reporters, which is exactly what I need as a disabled American. Without a friend or family member who cares, I'm screwed. So I get a lot of weekend warriors that want to tell me that they're sorry, they're sorry, they're sorry. And some of them have ulterior motives. One of them, her name was Michelle Hollenbach. All she wanted was a baby. How creepy is that? Anyway, right now there's a guy who's trolling on my channel. Calls himself Thorazine Phil. And what do we do with these guys? This is what I can do on the internet. Blam, hide user on this channel. He's gone. I'll take a picture as proof that it's gone too. And then I'll post some of them up. Some of them I can't, because the things that they say are highly inappropriate. The thing is that I was gaslighted until I reacted to long-term abuse. You can't just do nothing and take the abuse. That's fucking stupid. And that is people's advice. Oh, you just need to love yourself. Oh, just hold your head up high. I can't take care of myself because of the abuse that I've been enduring. And people always want to make it about Natalie. Even my own friends who wanted to claim to be my friends and for 6 years ignored me every time that I went to them for help. Or wanted to tell me about all of their personal problems, which, no offense, but they're trivial by comparison. These people all have friends and family members, immediate family they get to see every day. I have no one. I have had no one since 2015. The closest I ever had since 2015 was Natalie Bollinger. That's it. You get to hear in people's suggestions that they haven't heard a thing I say to them, and many of my conversations with witnesses to the situation, witnesses that I went to them for help about the abuse. Not just abuse from Natalie, but also abuse from the people that Natalie slandered me to. And that started in Virginia, by the way. The police decided, since my car was already broken and they'd already decided that I was a stalker, that they were going to break my vehicle further. The people that helped me to get my vehicle out never came forward about it, but I thanked them for it. And I did take screenshots of the fact that I thanked them for it, and they said, "You're welcome." That is an acknowledgement of the fact that those things did happen. I was homeless in Boulder, Colorado, because that's where my older brother Eric lived. I was Starbucks Sean because I stayed in Starbucks. The people there kept me safe. I walked them out to the garbage can to make sure they were safe because of a few incidents with homeless people that were going to stab one of the people that worked there. He later committed suicide. His name was Aaron. For 7 years, I did that out of that Starbucks. I passed out blankets, and I was basically Dr. Mom. Starbucks Sean. Whenever people had problems and nobody would do anything about it, they come in and talk to me. And I'd try to find a peaceful solution. Or I'd listen to them until they told me what help they needed, and then I would help them how they needed, because people know their situations better than I do. They know what help they need better than I do. For me, this situation became such a complicated situation. People want to ask questions that are all over the place. They need to hear it as a timeline. Don't get me wrong, there's things that are illegal that I did. But I was forced to do those things because I had no real friends or family members to help me turn in Natalie's predators, who were also my predators. People like Tim Beeson and Ted Bollinger. After Natalie's death, her entire family took part in this. Someone calling themselves Mark Sierra type, bro, you have the mind of a Jedi Master. No, I don't really. I have the mind of someone who is worried about his friends and family, loves them very much. Right now, I've got a friend of mine whose name is Eric Hero, and he is missing. He's in Hollywood, California, and I've been in contact with his mom and his sister. His sister reached out to me this morning. She's worried about him because he's missing. I'm living in parking lots here in Tillamook, Oregon, where I'm victimized often. I came here because a friend of mine named Rebecca Gross Nickel Foley was trying to turn in some people who were harming her. And they were also trying to do the same thing to her that was done to me when Natalie was killed. People gaslighting me to the media, to the public, claiming that I was a liar. The courts would only listen to my predators. Even my public pretenders never tried getting a hold of any actual witnesses. They never tried. None of them. Anyway, we'll start off like this. I didn't know who Natalie and Alicia were. They came down to the Boulder Public Library while I was visiting a woman named Janine. So I knew who they were, but not their names. Both of them, by the time they were 40, would probably still look underage. I mean, they're very, 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 very small people. Natalie and her twin sister, Alicia. After I hurt my back, this is a few years after I'd run off Natalie and Alicia, let them know it wasn't appropriate for them to be down there. They let me know that they were 18, and they were adults. They wanted to be friends. Now, just prior to that, they'd given me, both Natalie and Alicia had given me their Facebook stuff and information so I could hit them up on Facebook. So I sent them each a message. You know, it was good to see that after many years of not seeing them, that they were safe, that they were grown up, that they were, you know, they were with a couple of guys that were much older than them at the time. Anyway, so I sent them one message apiece when they were underage. They were both 17 at the time, almost 18. But almost isn't good enough, is it? No. Now, people pretend that I stalked Natalie from the internet because I knew her from the internet because she had talked to me once. No, that's not the case. I don't get to worry about just my safety. I have to worry about everyone's safety in my surroundings because that is my environment too. I encourage you to look up Jamie again on my channel. Oh, we've got another one of these people who's making a fake profile to harass me. Calls himself Sean Long Bumps Adavand. So you seeing that, Mark Sierra? Now let's see, hide user on this channel. You see how easy it is to block those people? This is the second one just on this video that I've had to do that with. I can do that on the internet. I can't do that in real life to these predators in real life. Anyway, I was suicidal in 2016 because of long-term abuse and neglect by my friends and family. And Natalie Bollinger and Maddie Boa were the two people that actually came to my rescue, actually showed up, and actually understood that I was injured and could not take care of myself. Natalie and I became friends from that point on. Then she was telling me that I was the only reason that she was staying in Colorado. That she really needed to get away from all those people. There's David and Laura Nelson had a car in Chapel, Nebraska. I had to leave. I told her it would only be 2 weeks. It ended up being longer than 2 weeks because I had to get a job and pay off that car before I could leave. And that time, Natalie realized it was going to be longer than 2 weeks and decided she was going to leave Tim Beeson and her dad and her Uncle Troy and all of those people in her family there that were so horrible to her. and had pushed her to commit suicide on multiple occasions and to cut herself up one side and down the other since before I ever met her. So then her and her sister were going to drive through and they were going to see me on their way out, on their way to Virginia, and that didn't end up happening. Then Natalie was going to get on an airplane, and she wasn't willing to get on the airplane unless I went to see her. Someone calling themselves Boogie typed, where can I send money? You can send it to P.O. Box 701, Tillamook, Oregon. Sean Schwartz. As far as electronic stuff goes, I'm not very good at it, otherwise this would have been done a long time ago. When I had a place to do it, I didn't have the knowledge of how to do these things, and I spent a lot of money on having people teach me how to do these things. They just never showed up. Anyway, with Natalie Bollinger, when I was in Chapel, Nebraska, recovering from my back injuries, Natalie wasn't able to come see me, so then she wasn't going to get on the airplane unless I went to go see her. Well, I paid a couple of people, a woman named Brenda Dickinson, it's her niece, and her boyfriend, gave me a ride down to Colorado so that I could meet Natalie and Alicia and Maddie on the appointed day before she got on the airplane, so that they would be able to see me before she got on the airplane, because she wasn't going to get on the airplane. But all of their phones were off. So then Natalie called me up, and she wasn't going to get on the airplane unless I promised to go see her in Virginia. So, here I am planning it out with Maddie Boa to go see Natalie and Alicia in Virginia. Here's another one of these trolls. You see this? Someone calling themselves Dirty RV type 666. What do? We take a screenshot of it. And then hide user on this channel. You see how easy that is? That doesn't work in real life. Oh, he typed gang stalkers after that. That's what Dirty RV and all of his buddies are. They make a lot of different profiles. They make Sean Schwartz hate groups that they mask as gamer groups. It's real swell of them. Anyway, I didn't know how to take screenshots on my phone. When I was in Virginia, here's how I ended up in Virginia. We had planned the trip, and I was pretty fucked up. I don't mean on drugs, I mean my back was fucked. And I didn't have a running vehicle. My vehicle needed a lot of work. In the meantime, there was two other people in Virginia, a woman named Rachel, and a woman named Haley Jean-Pierre, and they both needed rescue from a very similar situation. Both of them had babies that were close to newborn. Both of them needed a safe place to go. Both of them were in Virginia, and both of them had friends that had let them know I was going to Virginia, which is why they reached out to me for help. What had happened there is that I promised Natalie I would go to Virginia. Me and Maddie Boa planned the trip, and even though I don't do drugs, I still accept people who do drugs as human beings, because they're the only society of people that ever accepted me as a human being. Nobody else listened to me, and even a lot of them don't listen, but that doesn't mean I'm going to let them freeze to death. I did go to Virginia. About halfway there, a woman that I knew named Jamie Curtis got a hold of me and said she needed a hero. My car had broken down at a bus stop there, or at a rest area there in, I want to say, Missouri. And I turned around and went all the way to Rapid City, South Dakota to rescue Jamie and her son and get them out of James Payton's house. There's more witnesses than just that. There was Todd Rust, there was James Payton, and there was Todd Rust's family, and there was also a few of Jamie's co-workers. Anyway, I turned around and I went back to Virginia, and Mahalia Jean-Pierre got the help that she needed, but Rachel didn't. I went to Virginia. I planned the trip to go see a lot of different people, like Amanda DeMette and Brett Roloff, and they've been a part of my story both before and after. They never came forward about the truth. I had to record conversations with them about them and post them on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook. Had to take messages of or take screenshots of our Facebook Messenger and our text messages. And a lot of my friends, they ended up giving my number out to some of these web sleuth groups for them to come at me heavy and hardcore, and people were getting a hold of me. They still do. They call me up from restricted numbers all the time. And then the cops also want to call me from restricted numbers. So I don't know which is which. And sometimes I've got one video alone, just one video, where I was in Denver, Colorado, and I got in that video over 100 restricted calls in that one video. Sorry, over 200 restricted calls in that one video. I couldn't do anything except listen to the thing ring. I finally turned the ringer off and it just rattled. Anyway, I did go to Virginia finally. I finally made it. I was too broke to see Brett Roloff or to see Sage or any of them. We went and did a lot of the things that Natalie claimed that I did. You know, I did stay behind her sister's work at her sister's request. I wanted to stay at a different Starbucks. I'd already had one picked out. It was a nice spot. There were some folks in the area that wanted me to do some artwork because they'd seen my art. It was also very hot. We went and did everything that Natalie and her sister wanted to do. While I was in Virginia, after doing everything that they wanted me to do, including stay behind where Natalie's sister worked, because Natalie didn't work there anymore. I was sober, wasn't on any drugs. On my birthday, we were going to have a picnic, just me and Natalie and Alicia. Preferably in the front lawn, and that was by Natalie Bollinger's insistence. Meanwhile, all of this is backed up by actual fucking evidence. Actual evidence. Natalie's sister, Alicia, insisted on giving me a new phone for my birthday because all I had was a flip phone. Now, there it is. After giving me that flip phone for my birthday, well, a couple days before, that flip phone, it turned out that after giving me a smartphone to replace the flip phone, because she worked at Cricket, Alicia Bollinger, that's Natalie's twin sister, worked at the Cricket store. And I spent a lot of time with her. Now, meanwhile, there was no sexual anything at any point in time between me and either one of them. Natalie wanted to spend time with me, and she was pissed off that her sister got to spend so much time with me. She was dependent on her sister to come. In order to come see me, she had to have her sister drive her. On my birthday, I was so fucking broke. I had a $20 bill. We were supposed to meet up maybe at 11, between 9 and 11. But that didn't end up happening. And the reason that didn't end up happening, this is a few days after my birthday. Or this is on my birthday. And the situation where I was called a stalker happened a few days after. Natalie's sister, after changing my phone number from the flip phone over to this new smartphone, a smartphone that looked like it had been used for target practice with a BB gun, and Natalie's twin sister gave this phone to me for my birthday. She changed it over so that my old phone number was now a Cricket number, and it was in her name. So after 30 days, everybody in my call log, I couldn't use that phone anymore. I had to buy another phone. I had to try to type in everybody's phone numbers from the old phone into the new one. I couldn't get anything to fucking work on it. That phone would call whoever I called last 100 fucking times if I didn't fucking turn the goddamn thing off. If I was text messaging, I was tired of it saying ducking. So finally it would say fucking. But then all of a sudden, this phone that's just doing its own thing is sending whenever the hell it wants. It's sending in the middle of me texting, and it's changing words into stuff that I don't want it to because I was arguing with racists from Washington State. Sorry, Montana. Jerry Sparks' son and his friend Meanwhile, there's a lot of evidence of this, but nobody wants to look at it. So on my birthday, things didn't go well because I was dehydrated, like severely dehydrated. And they just redone the blacktop in the McDonald's parking lot. And I was waiting on Natalie, who was waiting on her sister to come home because we were all going to go out together because her sister wanted to go somewhere. Natalie always did what her sister wanted, even though Natalie didn't want to go anywhere on my birthday and I didn't want to go anywhere on my birthday. We did what Alicia wanted on my birthday. We went to Elliot's Coffee Grounds. Natalie didn't tell me that she didn't want me to talk to her or speak to her until after I had a fucking severe goddamn mental breakdown from being severely dehydrated and from being fucking treated like shit over a fucking phone that was a gift from them. That phone was a gift from Natalie and Alicia Bollinger from Alicia. Natalie didn't know that her sister gave it to me, and her eyes got real big when she realized it was her old HTC that Alicia Bollinger had gifted me for my birthday. It was so fucked. Natalie Bollinger was using a broken phone because the phone that was given to me as a gift was too broken to use, and she knew it. Alright, Boogie is talking about testicular torsions for some reason. Apparently he's probably going to need surgery. Said he couldn't get his testicle untwisted, although that could be a very real medical issue. It's also something that trolls do. They get on and they do shit like that. Anyway, in Virginia, with that phone busted, and Natalie was going to meet me the following Monday, but I was severely dehydrated. It'd been like 5 days since my birthday. I was severely dehydrated. I didn't have any money left. I wasn't able to work. My back was fucked. And I went to go explain to Natalie what was going on with that busted ass fucking phone. But when I got there, my car fucking busted down in the middle of the fucking road. Not my fault. Pre-existing issue, along with me being fucking severely dehydrated and lack of sleep. Fucking sucked. John Doe typed, "Are you a homosexual, man?" That's not your business. Well, that's definitely trolling. You're the third troll to get on here. What do we do with these guys? I'd use her on this channel. It's 3 of them in just this one video. Why do I make these videos? Because the mentally ill tag is used to prevent me from speaking up or getting my side heard. When I was in Virginia, I wasn't arrested. I was severely dehydrated. Natalie was fucking strung out on heroin. I was taken to the hospital because I was fucking dehydrated. I was released from the hospital with a piece of paper where the nearest place to go for help was 8 miles away, and my vehicle had been towed, despite the fact they said my vehicle wasn't going to get towed. Boogie type, "The back of your head is flat." So what are we going to do with Boogie? We're going to do what is that we do with trolls on this channel. Take a screenshot. Hide user on this channel. You see how easy that is? I can't do that in real life. I don't get to just hide user on this channel in real life. And the abuse that I endure includes physical, includes financial, includes emotional, and has included sexual abuse as well. And you see how there's lots of trolls that get on here and want to make fun of me and tease me and heckle me and bully me. But out of all of you offering to help, none of you actually help. You tell me how sorry you are and how you'll fucking pray for me. It's pathetic. Anyway, I called Natalie up after I got out of the hospital, once I was able to get my phone running, and I was able to make a couple calls about the damage police had done to my vehicle. Swell fellers. And I said, hey, you know what? I understand. What happened is I was dehydrated. My car broke down. Somebody drove past me and honked their horn at me, and I was afraid of a family of 6 careening into the side of me. I didn't want to see it coming, so I honked my horn and kept my eyes forward. I've done that on at least 5 different occasions since then to try to get help. When there's nothing else that I can do except honk my fucking horn and hope somebody fucking responds. Her mom came out of the house and said she's calling the cops. I was so fucking glad. I mean, seriously, it was a fucked up situation and I was trapped in the fucking road, cutting off 2 lanes of fucking traffic. It was about 15 minutes, although Natalie claimed it was for hours. See, after the fact, they just wanted to tell any story that would alleviate the things that they had done wrong and make them look like they were poor innocent victims. They fucking weren't. They were fucking heroin addicts who didn't care whose life they destroyed. They just didn't want people to think less of them. Popularity was what was important. And that was one of Natalie Bollinger's biggest gripes, is that her sister was more important than her. Her sister got more likes than her. Her sister was prettier than her, blah, 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 blah. They were twins. Isn't that hilarious? Anyway, I called Natalie up before I left. Tried to let her know, but I called her up and, well, I messaged her. I said, I understand if, your family is afraid or whatever. So if they are, just let me know and I'll leave and never talk to you again. So she called me up and she said, Sean, I love you, but my family's afraid of you, so don't talk to me again. So I blocked her and her sister right then and there. I tried messaging Maddie Boa to let her know what had happened. And then I was on my way back to Colorado. Maddie Boa didn't care what happened. She'd already decided who was guilty. She'd already talked to Natalie and Alicia. They were heard and I wasn't. I was never heard, not by anyone through any of this. Someone calling themselves CEO of Ativan just created an account to harass me. How many of these guys is that now? 5? 5 of these people just on this one video getting on to troll me. I shouldn't have to go public with this. I should be able to go to the police and not have to fear what it is that the police do to disabled homeless men. Without a friend or family member who cares, though, that's exactly what I have to go through every single time. All they had to do was one officer, Waylon Lolatai, he assaulted me, and then I was charged with assault. And that was enough that any officer that I have to deal with is going to blow me off, treat me like shit. They don't give 2 shits about me. I'm not a human being to them. Meanwhile, Waylon Lolatai was in the news for assaulting multiple people. When I tried to turn him in, I had to do so alone, and I was sent to a mental hospital. A mental hospital where they killed a man named Tibor Hatay, where they were holding people for far longer than they were legally allowed to, so that they could steal those people's Medicaid and Medicare. And I spoke out about it. But nobody listened to me. They just continued with the mentally ill tag. All right, let's get back to when I was in Virginia, though. I left Virginia. On the way out of Virginia, Maddie Boa got a hold of me and told me what I did was creepy, and fucking I blocked her ass, too. I got to Boulder, Colorado, and there were people that were threatening to kill me and kill my family and assaulting me and creepy shit like that. So I left. I've had to move repeatedly because of that slander since then. I've had to stay with alcoholics and drug addicts, child abusers. I get threatened, harassed, and intimidated by child abusers, by the general public. I get harassed on the internet. I get harassed in real life. I get told that it's my fault, that it's my choice, that it's my decision. Now, to prove to you that these trolls that we're typing here actually exist, I'm going to post up the screenshots of it on my Facebook, and then I'm going to try to copy and paste to the Natalie Bollinger group that you've been listening to slander from. I am the one who is stalked and continue to be stalked. There is a lot of evidence. Please look up the name Jamie again on my channel. There might be several by that title, so I might just post that one up for you too. I'll see if I'm able to do it on my phone. I should be in here in the library trying to get that evidence set up so that I can turn it in easily tomorrow, day after tomorrow, because the library won't be open tomorrow. But I'm trying to tell you what's going on because you found me through one of these Natalie Bollinger groups on YouTube. One of these true crime things that spreads the slander. When I tell the police that, they pretend that it doesn't exist. They tell judges and lawyers and prosecutors that it doesn't exist, that I'm delusional and that I made it up. Well, how can I be delusional in making it up if it's documented by the courts? Many of the people that I told on that are child abusers, they had a history of child abuse beforehand. As a victim of sexual assault and sexual abuse, I'm pretty good at pointing out and finding out who it is that's being sexually abused. There's certain behaviors that stick out like a sore thumb. Anyway, Natalie's friends in Boulder, which is where I knew her from originally, were threatening me and harassing me and assaulting me and telling me they were going to kill my friends and family and all sorts of creepy shit like that because Maddie Boa, see, Natalie Bollinger claimed that I stalked her, and people jumped to the conclusion that I was a stalker who couldn't take no for an answer. Because I have a penis, I must be a rapist. Because I'm homeless, I must be a rapist. Because I'm autistic, I must be schizophrenic and delusional and can't take no for an answer. Because I have OCD, and part of OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder. That's touching my steering wheel 3 times before I can start my car, or touching a door handle a couple times before I'm able to open the door, or stepping over the yellow lines but making sure that I step on the white ones and assigning a point game to it so that it doesn't seem so weird to myself. OCD is weird, but it doesn't mean schizophrenic or delusional. OCD is making sure you don't step on a crack, and every time you see a crack, it's don't step on the crack, you'll break your mother's back. You know you're not going to break her back, it's just a habit. Just like smoking a cigarette's a habit. Kind of like those people who are superstitious and carry salt around so they can throw salt over their shoulder. Yes, there's people who still do that. Anyway, after over a year of me reaching out to all of the professionals I could, going to appointment after appointment after appointment, and these are all documented, by the way. It is documented that I was going to multiple therapists, not just multiple therapists, but multiple therapists in multiple states. I was going to therapy in Nebraska. They told me I needed to go to Colorado for services that'll help me. So I went to Colorado, and Colorado, of course, Jeff Ritter and all them, fucking useless. They didn't do anything about the abuse. That's what I was supposed to be jumping through all of these hoops to get disability for. So that the law would have to step in and intervene in all of this fucking abuse that I was enduring before Natalie was killed. A lot of people had quit their jobs because they had issues. Like Tamara, my caseworker, before Natalie died. She quit her job because she realized how fucked her son was, because he's got Asperger's too. After realizing how horrible things were for me before Natalie died, she quit her job before Natalie was killed, by the way. She's one of those people that was a key witness that should have been speaking up from the start. When she quit her job, all of these places that she worked for that were supposed to do something that didn't do anything after she left. I had to go back to these places over and over again. Nicole Peralta over and over again. Finally, it got to the point where I had begged enough people to kill me. I had tried to offer everything that I had for somebody to help me end my life because it was that horrible. Being treated like I'm a child molester and a rapist because some adult, not some girl, some adult wanted to pretend I stalked her. Natalie Bollinger never claimed I raped her. She never claimed that I fucking molested her. And she knew it was a far stretch to get anybody to believe that I would stalk anybody. But I've also got hundreds of recordings with police officers. There's a lot of stuff I wasn't able to do. Didn't have the money, didn't have the equipment, didn't have the knowledge or know-how. Pretty much everything electronic I needed help with, and still do. Speaking of... Oh shit, it's not charging. Should have turned on my battery. Anyway, just before Natalie was killed, there was a woman named Joanna Taylor Smith. I was up visiting Jamie Curtis again. This is after the Virginia thing. I was visiting Jamie Curtis again. I was letting her know that I wanted my life to end. Joanna Taylor Smith was encouraging me to make another Facebook account, so I did. I made the Michelle Brannick profile. She was encouraging me to take Vicodin for my pain. Well, I wasn't interested in that. If I was going to get Vicodin, I was going to use it to end my existence. I didn't want to be here anymore. Being treated like you're a rapist or a child molester or even just a stalker, because that's how telephone works. You tell one little lie and that lie gets out of control, and pretty soon you've got an innocent man being gaslighted because one girl didn't get what she wanted right when she wanted it. Girl. We got to say girl, don't we? To pacify you peoples who want to pretend I'm a bad person for pointing out that she was a grown-ass goddamn adult. When you want to talk about all the horrible things that she went through in life as an excuse why I should just take all of this abuse, you don't stop to take a look at the fact that I have been through far worse than Natalie Bollinger was ever even capable of. I have seen the corpses of more of my friends than any person should ever have to see. Just before Natalie disappeared, in September, I let her know that she could either come forward and tell the truth. This is after over a year of her friends and family threatening and harassing me, offering to kill me and my friends and family. Making fake Facebook profiles and fake email accounts to fucking harass me. Using my friends' names to harass me. Making fake profiles in my friends' names. So when Joanna Taylor Smith told me to make a fake profile, or to make a profile, I made one with the express intent purpose of getting rid of my Facebook before committing seppuku. I didn't want people like Joanna Taylor Smith to do the things that they said they would do to Natalie and Alicia and Maddie. I didn't want bad things to happen to them. By the time I finally exposed Ted Bollinger, there was a severely screwed up situation. I'd move it out of low income in Chapel so that I could be in the services in Colorado and be closer to my loved ones in Colorado, the ones who weren't sad and mopey and suicidal all the time. But I couldn't go to Boulder, Colorado without being assaulted, so the only times I went to Boulder is when somebody from Boulder called and needed a rescue. People like OSHA or Bailey Beers. Anyway, after September, things really went downhill. I finally got somebody to come see me. Rachel Klang and her mother came to see me for my birthday. Other than that, I had a situation with Jamie Curtis, who was letting me know that she was afraid of being in the same town as James Payton. What she didn't tell me was that she was dating James Payton at the time. Well, she's telling me that she's afraid for him. So I exposed him. I exposed Ken and Leah, the people who I was staying with, who were ripping me off for my disability money. And I told on Ted Bollinger and Tim Beeson all at the same time, all within just a few days of each other. And here's how it happened. In November and December, I realized that I had to speak out publicly about the abuse that I was taking. I had to be very public about it. I had to let people know exactly what abuse I was taking and enduring and exactly why, and I did that. I also made sure that I kept my word to retaliate against Ted Bollinger and Tim Beeson by exposing them. What happened there is that December 9th of 2017, after over a year of abuse, after over a year of begging people to end my life, as well as a failed attempt, I got a hold of Natalie's mom on December 9th of 2017, and I let her know what was going on. I said, hey, I'm the autistic idiot who was honking outside of your house last October. People are treating me like I am a rapist and a child molester, and I never did any of those things to your daughters. Since, God, what's her name? Joanna Taylor Smith had said if I killed myself that she was going to make Natalie and Alicia and Maddie, she was going to make their lives hell. By the way, she's still friends with Maddie Boa. She's not friends with me because I told the truth publicly. Whereas she was willing to tell me these things but not tell the public. She just wanted to hide them from the public. So when I made the Michelle Brannick profile, it was to destroy my Facebook profile before committing suicide so that people like Joanna Taylor Smith wouldn't have fuel to the fire. They wouldn't be able to coordinate and have people destroy Natalie and Alicia and Maddie's lives. But what did Natalie, Alicia, and Maddie do? They coordinated with their friends and their families, their druggie customers for the most part, to make my life a living hell because I told the truth. I was sober and I stayed sober. People want to pretend that I'm some sort of big druggie, or that I must be on drugs because I spoke out about being harmed. And ultimately, when my friends, my family, the police, and therapists all blew me off, the therapist making me go to appointment after appointment, over 30 appointments to therapists before Natalie was killed. All of them documented. None of them ever once spoke up. None of them did what they're supposed to do. Once I got disability, they're supposed to do what a mandated reporter is supposed to do when you are a child, a disabled person, or an elderly person in an at-risk situation. You're a mandated reporter. You have to turn it in. And yes, accusations are good enough to start an investigation. How many appointments did I go to in Colorado and Nebraska before I finally got a hold of Rose M. Kelly to beg her for help? How many? A lot. Then, on December 12th, I exposed Natalie's dad with the email from Natalie and a video about what was going on. That was December 12th. December 13th, Natalie Bollinger had seen it. So she got on and made her final public post, slandered the living shit out of me, used the term mentally ill to try to convince people, gaslight them into not listening. Just like your family did. She was well trained. You live what you learn and you learn what you live. She grew up in the system with fucked up druggy parents. Yeah, you goddamn right she knows how to manipulate and how to fucking twist shit into something that it's not. That's why both sides need to be seen. That's why both sides need to be seen. With the police, just like in Virginia, In Colorado, they didn't do their jobs either. And I had to do the investigating. I had to do it from homeless on the streets without the knowledge of how to do these things. I had to pay people gross amounts of money to teach me how to do these things. People who, instead of teaching me how to do them, just told me what to do. Anyway, this is my house. This is what I live in. I also pay for a storage facility. I live on $800 a month. All of my back payments for disability got used up and spent on people blackmailing me, threatening my friends and family. I had to spend that money going back and forth to court date after court date because of crimes that were committed against me because Natalie and her friends and family slandered my name. And the evidence that it is slander I've been posting on Facebook and my YouTube channel for years. My friends and family are angry that they're on my YouTube channel. They should have come forward instead of telling me these things and then hiding like rats and allowing me to be treated like I made them up. Like everything that I said was a figment of my imagination. Sarah Bacon is on my channel talking about people threatening to kill her and her friends and family, including her children. She's on there talking about how cruel these people are, and it's not just in the internet. There's also Aaron Cockerham. These people ended up gaslighting the shit out of me, and they were both working with the Bollingers, and I got evidence of that too. Not just the Bollingers, but also their extended family. They gaslighted the shit out of me. They had their friends pretend to be autism advocates and pretend that they were going to help. I got served papers. Natalie was going to meet me to end all the crazy, which would have been great, but she didn't. She wanted to meet at a Starbucks on Pearl Street. I wasn't comfortable meeting her there. I wanted to meet her at the police station, and the actual evidence does show that. It shows that I was the only one who tried to do the right thing at all. The police never once even tried. The therapist never once even tried. My friends and family never once even tried. Because of that, for over a year before Natalie was killed, the abuse was ongoing. And my friends and family showed they didn't care. And then after Natalie was killed, they wanted to pretend, do anything except for come forward and tell the truth. They wanted to tell me their friends and family and themselves were being threatened, that these web sleuths and the Bollingers were threatened to kill them and their families. And when I came forward about it, how there were people who were trying to help me and how police had threatened, harassed, and intimidated them. How the Bollingers had threatened, harassed, and intimidated them. How nut jobs who saw it on the news threatened, harassed, and intimidated them. Not to mention the fact that homeless friends of mine were beating each other up in front of me over whether or not I killed Natalie. Hey, Sean, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just get the hell out of here. I'll fucking hold him off. Like, fuck, why are you fighting? What happened just before Natalie died? Well, I wasn't given the right information. Jeff Ritter, my caseworker, my therapist from Colorado Coalition of the Homeless, wasn't able to do anything to help me until after the first of the year because the government was shut down. Meanwhile, I was apparently supposed to have court on the 22nd of December. I didn't even know that. I was pissed off that Natalie Bollinger was able to get a protection order against me from all the way in Virginia with zero fucking evidence, without me being even allowed to go to a fucking court date, but I couldn't get Tim Beeson served up a protection order in the state of Colorado. Meanwhile, Ken Wilson and Leatha Plunkett ripping me off for my disability money didn't make things any easier. When I had to walk over 100 blocks to try to get a ride from Miss Peaches, that's Kayla Trujillo, so that I could meet Natalie where she wanted to, Natalie used that walk. The fact that I had to make that walk while injured that badly with a backpack on my back is fucking horrible. The fact that was used to try to pretend I'm a horrible person? No, it was that serious a situation that I had to walk injured that far to try to get a ride to meet because she didn't want to meet at the police station. She wanted to threaten me with the police. I gave her my phone number so that she could have the police fucking call me. Because I'd gone to them repeatedly before she died and they'd blow me off same as they always do. The same as you do. And then you got all these people on these Natalie Bollinger web sleuth groups. You wouldn't pretend that's just on the internet. No, these people live here in the United States, many of them. And you don't think that harassment is horrible for me to have to endure? Meanwhile, it's magically okay to do this to a disabled person. Meanwhile, these are all felonies, but you're allowed to do it to a disabled person by calling them mentally ill, and magically it all goes away. Magically, you don't have to be a mandated reporter anymore. After Natalie was killed, or when she went missing, I got a call that day saying that she was missing from a general number. I couldn't even call it back. The first thing I did is what I always do when somebody goes missing. I made a missing persons post. There's 2 other people up here that I came here to see, or to try to find 2 other missing people. David and Katie Saltzman of Beaverton, Oregon. These officers nationwide have such hatred and disdain for the homeless. And you guys telling us you'll pray for us? No, prayers do no good. Between praying for God to feed your child and you actually using that spoon, dipping it in that baby jar, and transferring it to your infant's face, that baby's not going to eat. That baby is going to starve to death on your fucking prayers. When it comes to disabled and homeless adults, you guys want to tell me about, oh, the law says this and the law says that. Are you a fucking lawyer? Because I've gone through this alone, and they don't observe any of the fucking laws. They don't observe them because they don't have to, because you're not there to care. When it comes to my predators, because they got a big head over doing it to me, and their coworkers, help them to get rid of evidence of their crimes. Help them to try to frame me for crimes that were never committed. Later on, there were people who had family and friends who actually did care. Unlike my family and friends. People like Zaid Atkinson and Sammy Leon Lawrence IV. When Zaid Atkinson was going through that, and Sammy Leon Lawrence IV was assaulted by that officer, that very same exact officer, Waylon Lolatai, the same one who assaulted me, but I got called crazy and got charged with assault when I was the one fucking assaulted. They were supposed to take me there to make a report. Over and over again, when you try to turn in a police officer, they will send you to mental health, call you mentally ill, and have you fucking harmed and injected with drugs for telling on a cop. Don't tell me that's not the way it is, because that is exactly how it is. The United States does not protect the victims, it protects the predators and the money.